I was listening to Scott, but his sound's messed up, so we tried to tell him, but I guess he's not going to do anything about it. So I couldn't listen to him going down the road, so I figured I'd go live for the people who ain't watching him. Won't be a. It's. I got 2 hours to drive down where I'm picking my trailer up, so I figure I can do that. We got to. Oh, I'll wait till somebody comes in. But we do have a new baby goat this morning, little boy. For anybody watches a replay. Hey, Molly, I seen you was over at Scott's. I couldn't hear him. I'd turn it off. I couldn't handle not listening. I was going to just listen to him going down the road, but I couldn't hear him. I don't know if you could or not. There was two or three of us told him, but I even had my headset on. I was talking to Shannon and listening, and I could hear him fine, and all of a sudden, it just like the volume went out. I'm up here in Michigan, got my seatbelt on, and riding down the road. This is the only state I wear my seatbelt. They will give you a ticket. They set up on the overpasses with binoculars and watch, and it's a fine on the spot. Hey, AR, how you doing, Dustin? And they will give you a ticket on the spot, and you got to pay a bond right then or go to jail. And if you, it's like the third offense, they take your license. They really are bad about seatbelts up here in Michigan. Headed to Texas, down to Conroe, Texas, north of Houston. Hang on, people. We're bouncing around. Bob telling the roads are really rough down here. My volume just went down. Huh. Maybe it's my phone doing it. Hi, Kim. Kim, can you hear me all right? Huh, I wonder. Maybe my phone's acting up. I charged my headset last night, so it's fully charged. If I turned right there, went north, I could see the Vineyard Chicks. Oh God, guys, be prepared.
Be nice.
I am. I've warned everybody.
They don't need a warning for me.
I did a public safety announcement.
Mm-hmm. I figured this was easier than trying to text.
Oh.
Yeah, my hands and fingers aren't wanting to work right today, so.
Hi, Hugo. Hugo, that was funny on somebody the other day that was trying to say your name. It was Natasha's mom, and she's saying hooker and everything else. She couldn't get Hugo out.
Oh dear.
That was funny.
I was hurrying yesterday because I had a cardiology appointment that I had to be at. And so I couldn't really take the time to say very much. I guess it's okay to share my number.
Well, it's up to you. That's why I was asking. I don't like giving. If I got people's numbers, I ask first before I give the number out.
I mean, like I said, it's okay to share it. I don't have a problem with that. At least not with this couple. And she really has no clue how much
she was wanting to send you. She does a lot of quilting, and she actually goes to California once a year. And her brother, I think, has like a feed store or something out there, and they all get together every year, and they have for years. She flies to California, and for 2 weeks or so every year, Susan does, and I know she's got others down there by Joplin that does it, but she was wanting to send you money for postage. And I said, I think there's way too much to mail it. And it ain't that far for her to drive up.
Yeah. Truthfully, there will probably be at least a bushel-sized box. And the last time that I checked into mailing one that size with the weight that was involved, it was going to cost me $80.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Might be kind of high.
Yeah, it's not cheap to do any kind of mailing, that's for sure. And those little boxes that they say, are pack and ship. Oh yeah, you can mail any weight in them. The boxes just aren't very big. They're like a 13 by 13 inch square, but it's only 4.5 inches deep.
Oh.
So yeah, you're not gonna get a whole lot in there. And so I thought, shoot. But yesterday kind of wore me out because my appointment was in Olathe, Kansas, and that's where my cardiologist is. And
Carly, that doctor is a heart doctor, right?
Yeah.
How come you go there? Do you got one?
Yes, I have a heart and it has problems.
Oh, okay.
Yes, for lack of a better term, it's congestive heart failure. That there's a pumping issue, and it's only operating at 45 to 50% of what it should be. And
well, you better stay off the floor then, because that probably strains at you trying to get up off the floor.
No, as long as I'm careful, I don't have any problems. I wound up with 3 new prescriptions yesterday, and one is for cholesterol. The other 2, they changed fluid medication. because I can't go without it. And so now I just get to go have more lab work done on a more consistent basis now. And but the cardiologist is the one ordering it. It will not be my primary ordering those lab tests. He's a little upset with her at the moment because she was just uncomfortable writing these prescriptions. And he just rolled his eyes and he said, I don't have a problem with it. He said, I will send them in for you. He said, these are things you obviously need to be on. And he said, what was she willing to write it for? And I said, stuff that I was allergic to that could have very easily landed me in an emergency room, in ICU, or dead. And he said, but those were okay. I said, yeah, she didn't have a problem writing those. But I said, this that I would have, basically no reaction to, she was uncomfortable with because of something else that's involved. And she just didn't want to do it. And he said, I don't have a problem doing it. He said, it's not an issue. And we got partway home yesterday, and we hadn't even crossed it over into the state of Missouri when I got the notice from Walmart that the prescriptions were ready to be picked up.
That's fast.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I just went by and picked him up. She had one, she had to get two. And so.
Sorry, Hugo. Hugo's mom had it too.
Oh my. Well, see, my mom did. But my mom's was due to her having COPD. And so that was what took her. But that's what they term mine, because there's all kinds of similarities that.
Is it hereditary, is it?
It can be, I guess, but they don't really know enough about it to say, okay, this is going to be a hereditary thing. It's going to go generation to generation to generation. Yeah, Mom had it because of COPD. But she wound up with COPD because she had influenza, and my late husband was a chain smoker, and he was not going to take those cigarettes outside. His thing was, this is my house. If you don't like it, you go outside.
My dad was the same way.
He was a rude smoker. And at least until
Jerry.
He found out that when they did a chest x-ray on me, and the doctor told him to pick out his x-ray, and he went for the ones that had the spots, and the doctor looked at him and he said, no, that's your wife's. He said, you're killing her. And he said, if you want her to stay around, you better lay off of the cigarettes. And he did finally start cutting back. And he finally started, take them outside. He was more careful with it.
Kim just said I could give her phone number to you so Susan can call her and talk to her about what she has. Yeah. We'll see whether she wants to drive up and get it or not. I'll let the ladies talk. I'm just a middleman.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'll send it to you when I park after a while. I'll send Kim's number to you, Jerry, and have Susan talk to her.
Yeah, that'll be fine. And so just, Randy, tell him to have her text me beforehand that she's going to call. Otherwise, I won't answer the phone.
Okay. Yep. Jerry, you heard that. Jerry's in here now, so he heard you.
Okay. Hi, Jerry. So, yeah, I've seen him. He
probably won't be here long. He's getting ready to go out to the shop. He makes pencils and pens out of wood. It's pretty interesting watching him turn them on the lathe. And he's been making bowls. He's really good at it. Jerry ain't good at much, but he is a very good wood turner. I've seen that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, he makes some beautiful pen and pencil sets.
Oh, that's neat. I'll have to talk to him about his pricing on that stuff, because I know of a couple of young men who would just love something like that.
Yeah, they're really, really, really pretty. And he does them different sizes, depends on, like he did some for Rebecca. She cut a tree down over there in Columbia, and she sent him some wood. And He has different sizes to fit your hands.
Oh, wow.
There it is, 30 for the pen and 25 for the pencils.
Oh, wow. Now, are they mechanical pencils?
Yep, yep.
Oh, awesome. Oh, yeah. I seriously, I've got two grandsons that would love something like that.
Then he has a nice little case they come in if you buy the set. It's got his logo burned on the case and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very, very, very nice pen and pencil sets.
Oh, that is neat. Yeah, I know of some young men that would be thrilled with that. That's awesome.
I don't have the patience to play with that little pieces of wood like that, turning them like he does and drilling them out and stuff. I'd be breaking them all.
Dave did some of that. His brother had a lathe and he didn't have any place to put it, so he stored it at our house, and he told Dave he could use it, and Dave got to playing with it, and he did a lot of doing like table legs and spindles and for staircases and stuff like that, and he thoroughly enjoyed it, and he was good at it, but he liked working with wood. I've got two pieces of furniture standing in my home now that he built from the trees that they came from. They're both built from walnut trees that grew on our place. And I've got a great big coffee table that he built, and I've got a humongous china cupboard that empty. It weighs 700 pounds.
Wow.
It's solid black walnut. And it's in two pieces, and it takes 4 men to move each piece.
Wow.
And once it's set in place, I don't plan on moving it. And so we like to never got it moved out of the house when I sold the place and moved here to Kansas City. And he had built it to fit a specific location in the house, and we like to never got it out of there. But it's just, and it looks like an antique. And now the glass that's in the doors is over 200 years old.
Oh, he found some of the old glass even.
Mm-hmm. A man that was a fellow logger. He had been commissioned to tear down an old building in a town north of us, and he went up and got it. And of course, the building had been there since the mid 1800s. And he got the glass that was out of it, and it was a huge sheet of it. But then when they started cutting it down, it started shattering real bad. And so the pieces that are in my china cupboard are all that's left of it. But it's real thick glass. It's almost a 1/4 of an inch thick. And it's really heavy stuff. But I tell you what, it polishes up so pretty when I get it all cleaned up. Man, it's pretty. But
yes,
I was off.
I like look at that glass like that. It's got its own character inside of it.
Yeah, it does. And there's places bless you.
No, man, I keep sneezing in this truck. I'm allergic to this truck. I never sneezed in my life until I start driving this truck.
Uh-oh.
There's something in here I'm allergic to.
Yep. Obviously.
I shampooed the carpet and everything else, and I don't know what it is.
That doesn't sound good. Well, I will hope that you can get it sold soon and get you something else.
Hi, Victoria.
Hi, Victoria. I don't dare try to drop down and look at that.
Victoria, I seen you couldn't hear Scott either. I couldn't hear Scott. And I couldn't hear him going down the road, so I figured I'd just go live. And so people else, I got a couple hours to drive down here to Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's got to be Jerry something here in the truck, but I vacuumed it. I used Armor All on the floors and a tire foam, and I shampooed the carpets, and I got leather. There's no carpet on the ceilings. It's all leather. So I wiped it all down, but There's something in here every day. I'm
Mm.
sneezing in this thing.
I wonder if it's the padding in the seats.
I don't know.
Do you know what the padding is made of?
No, I don't. Yeah, Jerry, I'm gonna clean this truck up. I'm gonna get the load to Arizona. I want to get it polished and paint the frame up, and I'm gonna sell this one. Hey, backtrack, and I'm gonna sell this one. I give 80 for it, and I think I can get 120 out of it. Well, that's what I thought too, Hugo, the bent. So there's filters in here, and I pulled the filters out, and they didn't look dirty, but I took the vacuum and vacuumed it out, but there still might be something in the filters. It's got a filter in the front and the back, and so I'm gonna buy a couple new filters.
Yeah.
Because right now it's cold up here, and I do have the heat on, so it might be stirring something out. It might be something in the heating system.
Yeah. I tell you
no,
what,
I got the other truck for sale still too, Jerry. It's got too many miles. I'm going to sell it too. I'm going to buy a newer one.
What'd you say you were going to go back with?
No, Jerry asked if I was going to go back in the old truck. I'm not going to. I'm not putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Pete I'm driving now. My other truck's a KW.
And you're going to go back to the KW then, or that brand anyway.
Probably, I'm going to go back probably to one like I had, but a newer one. I'm going to try to get like a 21 or 22. It's going to have the depth and stuff. I don't really want that, but I'm going to get the one with the 2-year warranty, so I don't have to worry about any breakdowns out of my pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good deal. I know.
Yeah, the other truck has got almost 1 million miles on it. It's about ready for an overhaul, and they want $50,000 to overhaul it. For another $50,000, I can just buy a new truck.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
That's true.
The fabric. She's got a bunch of fabric making quilts for Susan. I talked to Susan the other night, Monday night. She's got a lot of fabric she wants to give away. I thought my aunt might want it. I was going to drive down and get it, but she's got a lot of fabric. Some of it's already cut in strips. So Susan mentioned to have it mailed, but I think it might be cheaper for you guys just take a trip one weekend or something and drive up Kansas City. She lives right there by the football stadium.
Yeah, I'm just a little ways east of the football stadium, and truthfully, as the crow flies, I'm only 3 blocks north of Interstate 70. So definitely not hard to get here. It's pretty easy. So where are you now, Randy?
I just went past Battle Creek, Michigan a little bit ago.
Oh, wow. And you're on your way to Indiana?
Yeah, I'm going it's just across the line here in Indiana to Portage, Indiana, and then I'm going to Conroe, Texas, north of Houston.
Oh, my goodness. Woo.
Yeah, I was on the north side of Detroit this morning, dropped the trailer.
Oh, my goodness. Randy, have you kept a scrapbook of all the places that you've been?
In my head.
Ah.
I've been in all 50 states.
Wow. That's neat.
I don't know, Victoria. We was asked telling him to fix the sound, and he never did comment. He just kept talking. I never did hear him say anything, or try to fix it.
I know when my adopted brother was driving, he would take pictures and then he would leave the cameras, he'd leave his camera at home or he'd leave the film at home, and then his wife would go get it developed and he would write stuff down about the locations. And then when he'd get back home from another run, then they'd sit down and start working, and he started building scrapbooks. And
Oh,
I forget how many of them he said he's got now. And he said, if you ever get out here to Arizona, he said, you might as well just plan on spending a week or two with us. I said, do you really think I can handle living with you for that length of time? And he says, well, we'll figure something out. But I tease him a lot because he's 12 years older than me. And so, and since I will be 69 tomorrow, that means he's old.
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kim. Happy birthday to you. Damn, you're old.
Well, thank you. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I ain't far. I'm not far behind you. I'm gonna be 64 this year.
Really?
Yep.
I did not think you were that old.
Yep. I'll be 64 in June.
Wow.
I look good
And
for
so-
64, don't I?
Yeah, you really do. You really
You go.
do.
What part of Southwest Indiana are you in? I don't know which way I'm gonna cut south. I got to go over to Portage, and I really don't like going through Chicago, so I might come down towards Indianapolis and cut across. I don't know yet. I'll have to look and see. Florence? All right, I'll look and see where that's at.
I had to laugh at my son-in-law one time. He and I were talking, and he was talking to me about where all he was going, and he said he had to go someplace up around Chicago. And I said, so what do you think of going up there? And he said, I hate it.
I
He
do
said,
too.
I would rather drive. He's driven in New York City and Boston and, a whole bunch of places on the East Coast. He said, I'd rather drive in New York City than I would in Chicago. I
Yeah,
said,
it's a
George,
mess.
he said,
Nope.
no. He said, I would rather take this semi down around Times Square than I would to drive in Chicago. He said, it's just ridiculous. I thought, whoa.
It's
it
all
made me
under
feel bad about it.
construction. I mean,
Oh,
everywhere you
my.
go up there, it's under construction.
I
And the
was
people are
surprised
rude.
yesterday. Yeah, that's what even my boyfriend has said about it. He said, this is Illinois. He said, there's a lot of rude people in here anyway. But he said, you get up around Chicago, and he said, they're just plain obnoxious.
Yep.
So,
They are building a lot of businesses outside in the suburbs, so you don't have to go downtown no more. But for years, I
Yeah.
used to go down to the market or I'd haul swinging meat into Chicago out of Texas, and then I'd pick up box meat 2 blocks away in combos, and I would take it back to Amarillo to the prison there in Amarillo. That's where they make all the lunch meat for the whole state of Texas. They got a factory in the prison.
Wow.
They
That's
process all the lunch meat right there in Amarillo.
cool. Wow. I'll be darned.
Yeah. But they're building a lot of, I've been driving a lot of years, be 40 years next year. So I pull all different kinds of trailers. Victoria, all I do is deliver trailers. I don't really haul freight anymore. So I dropped the tanker off. I'm going to be picking a reefer up, taking it to Texas. And I just pull all different types of trailers. I pull the chassis, the containers, flatbeds, whatever I can hook to my truck, I pull it. I haven't got it all the way set up to pull pups and everything like that. Nor I can pull doubles, but I don't have the pintle hook or none of that set up on this truck.
I finally found out Nathan drives for Whitty Trucking Company. It's WITTE. It's
yeah, they're over there by St. Louis, just outside of.
Just outside of Wentzville, and that's who Nathan drives for. And he really likes the cab that they've got him in now. He said it's a Kenworth, and he said he likes it a whole lot better than the other one that they had him in. And he said it's just a much nicer truck. And that's basically what Nathan does, is he will haul sometimes he's moving empty trailers from one location to another like you're doing, but there's other times that he hauls actual loads and transfers them from one location to another. And he likes what he's doing. And he's
about time you got here, Paula.
Hi, Paula.
I've been on 3 hours.
You have not.
I know it.
If God loved liars, he'd squeeze you to death. I have laughed so hard watching those videos of Shannon's of those babies.
She got a new baby this morning. She just went to bed.
Oh,
it's a first time mama. It's out of Joker, the new buck we got this year or last year.
Yeah.
And so it's a first and first and first. It's Joker's first baby, the mama's first baby, and everything. It's a little boy. He's 11 pounds. It ain't little.
Wow.
But yeah, it was born about 10 o'clock, I think it was. She called me and says, "Hey, we got a little boy."
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what, Shannon has got one of the prettiest herds I've ever seen. And it just, you can tell that they are well cared for. And there are so many people that get into that and they really don't take care of them. There's too many that don't pay attention to the condition of their coats or their horns or anything like that. And Shannon pays such close attention to all of that, and she's got a beautiful herd. And
100% of her time is dedicated to them goats.
Yeah.
I've been there to the Navy deal too. There in Baltimore. That's pretty neat.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, a friend of mine lives in California, but her brother lives there by Baltimore, and she went out there about 3 years ago one summer, spent the summer. And she came and got me, and we went over to the pier, had lunch and stuff. And in the truck, I didn't get to see a lot of things, but she was there, and we run all over there. And there's a lot of stuff to see in that area.
Yeah. Well, Nathan has figured out they're not going to go on a cruise this year for their vacation. He's got 1 week paid vacation. And if he doesn't take it, then they just roll that vacation pay over into a paycheck. And he said, shoot, he said, I'd rather take a week off and get paid for it. So they're going to go to someplace in Virginia. I can't remember the name of the park, but there's a whole bunch of waterfalls and stuff in it. And she said, from, the way that Nathan described it and the pictures that he sent her on his phone, she said, it's going to be really nice. And I said, oh, that's something the kids will like. And she said, yeah. And
hi, Janie Jane.
Hi,
Janie Jane she's from the UK.
Oh, wow.
She's one of my long distance followers.
Yeah, really? That's cool, though. Well, I guess Nathan had even checked into coming down here to Kansas City to Great Wolf Lodge. And, maybe doing something like that, because then I could have driven over there and met him and been able to spend some time with them on their vacation time. But the cost of it was extremely prohibitive. And
they're on
so,
vacation. They don't want to spend time with you.
yeah. Oh, you'd be surprised when they were going to go on when they were first going to go on the cruise. They were both. I got a phone call from my son-in-law. Will you please come and go with us? And I said, no, I am terrified of water. I do not want to be. He said, you won't be in the water. You'll be on that boat. I said, but that boat is in the water and it is surrounded by water. No, thank you. You all go and you have fun. Bring me something pretty. But no, I ain't getting on no boat.
Me neither. I'm not scared of the water or the boat itself. It's all the horror stories. They talk about getting food poisoning. Like Scott got not staph infection. He got some kind of infection from a hot tub. He was really sick for 2 or 3 weeks. And you hear of all kinds of things. Then when COVID hit, they quarantined all them people, made them stay on the boat out there in the ocean, wouldn't let them come back on land. I mean, no.
I was just like, I'm sorry, but that's just wrong. Let those people go home. I don't want.
I'll fly anywhere. I love to fly, but I'm not going out on one of them ships.
See, I haven't been on a plane since Becky was, it's been 40 years since I've been on an airplane. And of course, recently I couldn't, and I still can't get on a plane.
Because our license, we can't now.
Yeah. And I am not going to go through all of the identity stuff that I'd have to go through to get that so-called real ID.
All it is a little fucking star on the top of your driver's license. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy. And since Nathan has to keep up with all of that, and of course he and Rachel have passports because they've been on these cruises, so that wasn't hard for them to get. Me, since my name is no longer my birth name, I have to supply our marriage license. Since I'm a widow, I have to supply his death certificate and 2 or 3 other papers that prove that, yes, we were married for that length of time.
You have to have something with your address on it.
Yeah.
Your birth certificate.
And I looked at the kid and I said, you have got to be kidding. Or he said, or you can get a passport. And I said, and how long does that take? And of course, when I went and got my license, he said, right now, he said, some of them are taking as long as 7 to 8 months. I said, yeah, I can't wait that long to get my driver's license. I said, I'll stick with plain old driver's license. And he said, so you're not planning on flying any place? I said, nope. My feet will remain planted on good old terra firma. If God wanted me to fly, he'd give me wings to start with. And I have flown, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But like I said, that was 40 years ago.
Well, it's been that for me. I guess it was in '85 when I got out of the service the last time I flew.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in the service, every time I got a chance to go up.
No, it would have been 84 was the last time I flew because Becky was only 6 months old. And she was born in March. Last time I was on a plane was in September of 1984.
Hey, Gary.
We flew to Denver, and Mom and Daddy come and picked us up. They lived at Craig, Colorado. And they come and picked us up.
That airport in Denver is not even there no more.
Yeah.
They built a great big one outside of town.
Uh-huh. And I guess that new one is a major nightmare.
It was when they first started, nothing worked.
Mm-hmm.
They thought it was because it was built on an Indian grounds. It had spooks out there.
Yeah.
I've delivered a lot of stuff out there to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice out there. It's way away from the city. I mean, it's quite a ways out of town.
Yeah.
They built up a lot of businesses out there now.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, even where the old airport was, there were a lot of businesses and stuff that was located out there around it.
Yeah, that was
And
downtown though, almost.
and
One of the runways went right across I-70.
yeah,
You go
yeah.
underneath there, and a plane going across you could hear it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was freaky. Driving underneath them big old
First time
jets.
I went out there, I see this plane. Oh God.
Yeah. Who's hitting who? No, Stapleton, it used to be at the east edge, but then the way that everything grew up around it, it became a town area. And it just, like I said, I ain't been out there since 1984. So, been a minute.
All right, Gary. The link is at the top, Gary, if you want to come up. I don't have my other phone in this truck to post it like I used to. Janie, it's because you do all that flop in your arms. That makes your arms when you're trying to fly. You're supposed to let the airplane do all the work.
I don't know. Both sides of my family, no matter how tiny the women are, we all have the bat wings under our arms. And I think mine are getting to the point that if I go out in a really high wind, if I stretch my arms out just right, I'm pretty sure I could take flight.
We had when I was in middle school, I remember a really nice teacher, math teacher. Her name was Mrs. Evans. And she had them, and she'd joke around about them with us. And we'd get a new student in, and we'd tell them, watch it. She'll knock you out with her bat wings and stuff. And she'd go and raise her arm up. She'd tell them to behave. You know, you never know when it's going to slap you upside the head. And but really, I mean, she's an older woman, but she had a really nice personality with kids. You know, she aggravated us, and you know, and she teased us, and she was really nice. Hi, Kobe.
Hi, Colby. I had a music teacher when I was in, oh my, would have been 4th grade. And she was, well, at the time that she was there, she was in her late 50s. And she was your typical Italian grandma. And she was heavier set, and she had the big arms and everything. And she had an amazing voice. And she would work with us kids in, you know, when we had our music class, and we had more fun in there. And she would go to directing us while we were singing, and her arms would start moving around and shaking and carrying, and we would all just dissolve into giggles, and even the boys. And she would say, all right, now I'm going to have to start wearing wraps on my arms. I can see right now, so that they will hold still, so that you children will behave. And then she would do something to make them swing. And she was by far the most loved teacher in that entire school.
That's the way Miss Evans was.
Great with kids.
She was my 6th grade math teacher. Yeah,
oh my!
I still remember her. Really nice lady.
By the time I was a senior in high school, the lady had died, and her funeral, the visitation was so humongous that they had to bring in extra books for the visitors to sign, because almost all of her previous students went to her visitation. And I guess it took 2 or 3 trucks to carry the flowers and floral arrangements, and it was just, she was so loved. And
You
of
know,
course, she
there
had,
ain't that many teachers, I don't think, around anymore. You know, they're just in there for their job. They're not like some of
yeah,
the older ones
yeah,
were.
yeah,
I'll,
and it
I'll
just
try
went
to
in.
do it again, Gary. Hold on a second. Let me get past this truck.
And teaching itself doesn't pay that great.
No,
So when somebody does go into it, yes, when they start, they have a passion for it. But there are so many of them that just get burnt out.
Janie says they call them bingo wings over in the UK. You're not disrupting
Yeah.
anything. We don't have one set topic here. We just go wherever it goes.
I started to ask you the other day, Randy, do you have one of Rebecca's hats?
Nope.
Hi,
When she
Gary.
first started doing them, she swears up and down she sent me and Shannon one, but she never did. She did send us some when we had a giveaway once, but we never did get one.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want one anyway.
Hey, Kim. Hey, Randy.
Hi, Gary.
Oh, Gary, you and me both having coffee.
How's the new puppy doing?
You can kind of hear them. They're
You're getting so many dogs. You got a farmyard now, looks like, in the background.
well, I've always said Tammy's got enough animals around here to start her own pet zoo.
Hey, that's the way to be.
By the way, Jerry Butler, I see him in there. Have you talked with Devil Dogs in the last, since yesterday? I just wondered. I know Devil Dog was having some issues with his one of his goats. Hey, Janie. And I just wondered if you had. I suggested to give you a call. I mean, I don't know that much about goats. I know Shannon knows, goats, but a lot of times Tammy talks with Jerry. I mean, we did have a chance to. She's met Jerry, so I guess it's a little easy for her to call him. But yes, that first cup of coffee in the morning, man. This is actually my second. I couldn't deal with, I'd have trouble during the day if I didn't have me some coffee.
That's kind of the way I am. I like my coffee in the morning.
Let's see. I don't rise and shine. I caffeinate and hope for the best.
Yep.
So.
Well, Shannon, I don't drink coffee, but Shannon, when she wakes up at night, her coffee pot's going up. You don't bother her until she goes gets that first cup.
That's right.
She walks in there, pours it, and puts her cream and sugar in it, drinks about half of it, then you can talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's a reason why Tammy will bring me coffee, as soon as I get up. She really don't want to talk to me till after I've been caffeinated. So.
I have to drink decaf.
Well, this is half cap.
Yeah.
So I have to drink 2 cups.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
See, that gives you a good excuse.
That's right.
Gives you the excuse you need. Oh, I got to stick with decaffeinated coffee and decaffeinated tea. And yesterday, after an appointment in Olathe, my girlfriend and I, we kind of have a tradition. Once we get done at the cardiologist's office, we go to Red Robin, and we get the never-ending fries and a great big fat burger, and which is a good thing to eat after you've seen the cardiologist. And I forgot to tell him yesterday that I needed decaffeinated tea, and I ordered one of the big glasses of tea. So yeah, I was a little bit wired until about 10 o'clock last night.
You said you go to Red Robin. I remember that commercial. Red Robin.
Yep.
Yep.
And
ain't heard that in a long time.
There's 2 that we've gone to. We've been to the one here in Independence that's just maybe a mile away from me, and then the one there in Olathe. And we've gotten their fish and chips at both of them. And you know, they may be a burger place, but their fish and chips are really good. I like
think
their
there's
fish
a
better than I do Long John Silver's.
Now I got to look it up.
We don't go to Long John Silver's no more. We love Long John Silver's, but the grease bothers me and Shannon now.
Oh yeah. Not only that, well, and the two that they have, you know, that are fairly close to me, they have not had good reports lately. And so
ours hasn't either. And they haven't remodeled it. It's dirty looking inside and out.
That's the way the one is over in Blue Springs on Highway 7. And you walk in and the floor just feels greasy and gross. And I'm just like, nah.
Yep. Like all the oils everywhere.
Yeah.
I actually, when I was in the service in school in Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas, I actually went to school like at 3 o'clock in the morning till 2. And in the afternoon, I would work at Long John Silver's. I was a fry cook.
Oh, wow.
While going to school for the Air Force.
Wow.
Janie Jane says, Randy, Meprazole will sort the grease. Hey, I take the Meprazole. And I don't get heartburn. Not anymore.
I have to take the Meprazole.
I suspect, now I don't know. I do know that, you know, when I do the low carb, high protein diet like I'm doing right now, I typically don't have a problem with the indigestion. But when I'm eating what I normally eat, you know, all that bread and the sugars and the cakes and the donuts and the ice cream and what, man, that'll give me a heartburn and a heartbeat. But I'm not eating it. But I'm still taking a Meprazole just to make sure I don't.
You cut out ice cream?
I did. I hadn't had ice cream in a long time.
Wow.
I mean,
you're going to put Blue Bunny out of business.
Well, I don't think they'll go out of business. I'm sure I put a dent in the ice cream sales around here, though. By the way, interesting fact. You know, when ice cream sales go up, shark attacks increase. Think about it.
What tax increases?
Shark attacks.
Oh.
You know why?
Nope.
Because both of them go up in the summer. You know, people, you know, are out in the water in the summer. They're not out in the water.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
But some people would say that because more people are eating ice cream, more people are getting attacked by sharks. I guess maybe they think they're sweeter or something. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, it definitely adds more fat. So maybe sharks are fat addicts. Who knows?
Janie Jane says, I had a heart attack a few years ago. Take a few tabs a day. But the aspirin I have to take gives me heartburn. But a Meprazole sorts it. Okay. I take low dose aspirin too.
Yeah. I do too.
I used to. I haven't taken it in a long time. I need to get back on it.
It's supposed to help thin the blood a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever I have migraine headaches, the only thing that I can take for it is a combination of aspirin and Aleve. And that's the only thing that will knock it, because the medication that they normally give for them, I'm allergic to because it's got soy ingredients in it, and I got a soy allergy. And so the aspirin and Aleve is what works. And if my body gets in more pain than what the Tramadol can handle, I grab an aspirin and an Aleve, and I can sit down and rest, and that'll take care of the pain. So
I've been on Tramadol for like 10 years, and I kicked the habit 2 months ago.
Tramadol's a painkiller, ain't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It didn't used to be a narcotic, but now it's a narcotic. It's on the list. But they put me on it when I had my stroke, and I was up to 6 a day for a while, and I got tired of taking them. It's a pain in the butt to get them, and I just weaned myself off them. I've been off them for 2 months now.
You are fortunate, Randy. See, mine, the Tramadol is the only thing I can take because of stomach issues, and the Tramadol is the only thing that doesn't make an ulcer bleed. I've got to be careful. And so, and now just taking the aspirin and the Aleve once in a while, it doesn't have any effect on it. But if I was to take it a whole lot, yeah, it would cause problems. But I take the Tramadol because of the arthritis pain and the fibromyalgia pain. And it works. And so there's some people that Tramadol has no effect on at all.
Well, I don't think it was doing anything to me.
Well, I've got Tramadol somewhere, I think. But my issue is from time to time, mine was 94% closed. One artery was Jamie. And so the fact is that I was a little upset it wasn't 95. At least a 95 is an A. You know, back in school, if you got a 95 or higher, that was an A. But anyhow, that's another story. I think it's funny. But no, I think I've got Tramadol around here somewhere, but it really doesn't help. It doesn't help me. Now, I've got some other medication that is more powerful than that, but I don't use it. I don't use any painkillers unless I really need them. And even then it's only, I have, excuse me, I have issues every now and then with kidney stones. And kidney stones, now that's, if I get in really bad shape, I will take one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had them. I heard them hurt.
Well, I would tell you,
is dealing with them now, and he's having to go in every once in a while for treatments on his kidneys to break them up, and that they can only do those treatments every 21 to 30 days. And the one stone in one kidney was so big that it was about to block everything, so they wound up doing surgery there to get it out. Then on the other side, one of the stones was in a position that they couldn't get to otherwise, and they had to go in through his back and actually do surgery on the kidney to get that particular stone out. The rest of them, they're just doing with those, he calls them shock treatments.
Yeah, and ultrasonic. I think it's like ultrasound type waves or something.
Yeah. But they can only do that every 21 to 30 days. And in the process, he's got one kidney that, the kidney that they did the surgery on first, it's not really pulling its weight. And when he gets rid of all of the stones, he's got to go see a nephrologist and see if they can't figure out what's wrong with that kidney. But it's picking up a little more than what it had been. So,
well, my brother, in fact, I got an interesting story about kidneys. I guess, you remember Katrina, or I don't know if you remember Katrina or not.
The hurricane?
It was a big, pretty big deal. My brother was moving from Texas to my brother that was living here at that time needed a kidney transplant because both of his kidneys weren't. And my other brother, who was out in Texas, was planning on moving here. And so they had trouble getting any help. They couldn't get anybody to help them get ready to move. Anyhow, when they did move, they moved here on a Friday, and a Saturday, was Saturday. Sunday, they left and went to, they moved here on Saturday. They left here on Sunday because they had to go up to, I think it was Nashville for for the kidney transplant. And Monday, Katrina hit. And so it was just so much going on at one time. And my brother that was getting the kidney transplant, his son was still at home, and severely disabled, and the hot weather would make him have seizures because it was hot.
Oh no!
And so we ended up taking. And my other uncle had just had like a triple bypass or quadruple bypass surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the way things were situated, a lot of folks, we had some generators and we're using them to try and keep everything cool with air conditioners and, like a trailer and what have you, this type of thing. But in order for that to work, you had to have gasoline. But they were rationing gasoline where you couldn't get but like, so many gallons at every spot. So, and I worked at Home Depot back then. And so, people were trying to come in, get generators and get tarps and get all these different things. So I had to be at work to make sure people were having their means met for their, during this time. Because, I'm in Mississippi and we got hit pretty hard. But so I was at work, my baby brother and my wife just would go from one gas line to the next trying to get gas to keep 3 generators running.
Yeah.
But it was a very trying time. I'm just thankful it's over for the moment. I'm sorry, I'm running out.
Sorry.
No,
the girls is wondering what you were doing, Kim. You were running around in the house.
Oh, I was getting another cup of coffee.
That's what Victoria just said. Figured you'd get another cup.
Yep, another cup of coffee.
Well, hey, I drink coffee up till about 9 at night. If I drink it after 9, then I have trouble sleeping. But as long as I stop around 9, I'm good.
I usually, even though this is decaf, I try to stop by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so having fibromyalgia means that you deal with insomnia. And I would rather not deal with that if I don't absolutely have to. So I kind of watch even the decaffeinated stuff. It makes a difference still. So
Kim, can I ask you about the fibromyalgia? I have a friend, I think that's what he had or what he has. But with him, he has, is that like nodules full of
no, that's rheumatoid arthritis that causes the nodules.
Okay. Well, he's got them all over his body. I just, didn't know if that was it or what does fibro.
It could also be osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis causes bone spurs.
Okay.
And I've got it too. And I'm just basically a hot mess. But no, fibromyalgia is a muscle and nerve disease, and it affects mainly the muscles and nerves. It can affect the joints. There are a lot of things that go along with fibromyalgia. Irritable bowel syndrome and chronic fatigue, and there are a lot of stomach issues that go along with it. There are pain issues that go with it. And fibromyalgia is something that it affects the nerves so much that at times it hurts for anything to touch the skin. And I've been there more than once. Um, there's days that the pain's been bad enough that I'm very content just to stay curled up in bed and not move, period. And but I've dealt with it long enough now that I'm learning to work through it. And so, but there's it happens in what's called a flare, when you will have symptoms that are a lot stronger than others. It can also cause sensitivities to light and noise and different smells, and it can cause some real reactions to those. And I know that when I am having a real strong flare, I can't handle real loud noises. There are certain smells that I just can't tolerate. I will get sicker than a dog. And migraine headaches go with it. It also affects a person's eyes. And there's just a lot of things that go along with it. The nodules, that sounds more like rheumatoid arthritis is what normally causes those. And unless it's osteoarthritis, and because they can cause them because of the bone spurs, and depending on where that spur grows, then it can become a nodule.
Well, these were, I don't know, 1/4 inch all over his body.
Ooh.
So these, I mean, I don't know. It seems like I had never heard him. He referred to it as something else, but well, they're not my horses, Janie. I don't have any horses. We do have goats. We do have, I'm just looking for an image. She said she wanted to see a horse on here, so I'm adding a horse. And the beauty of having OBS is that I can change this thing in the drop of a hat.
That's
it just
neat.
takes a couple of keystrokes. I would love to have horses, but Oh, okay. She said she's just kidding. But it would be nice to have some horses.
I have a girlfriend that used to have several horses, and when my parents lived here in Missouri, they were out on a little farm, and she kept her horses out there. Dad had 10 acres of grass, and so he said, well, because she was having trouble, with the pasture, and they were wanting part of it to come back, and he said, well, bring them out there to our place. And so for a while, he had her 7 horses.
Oh, wow.
And she had taken her riding gear and everything, and so we'd take off and go riding every once in a while, and had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
That was before I had any kids, so it's been over 40 years since I've been on a horse.
I've only ridden a horse a couple of times in my life. I think they're beautiful creatures and they're majestic. But ultimately, for me, I tend to be very parsimonious, frugal. And horses, from what I can tell, they don't typically make money. And I can understand why people would have them, but I've always been poor, and so I don't spend money on things that I don't think I can justify. And for me, although I'll be honest, my wife, she's got goats really don't make any money on goats. We
20
spend
years
money.
ago, our horses made us money. They paid for themselves, their room and board and their feed. But anymore, they don't. We're
Mhm.
giving one of ours away. There's a lady going to come and take one of them. We're only going to have our stud horse. And,
Oh,
but the market, then when the United States stopped letting you slaughter horses, they sent them to Mexico and slaughter them. But they stopped it, and the market just dropped way down. That there's some rare breeders, but if you're just a hobby farm, there's no money in it now.
well, and I would think most anything, if you have enough money, you could figure out a way to make it pay for itself at least. But for me, I've never been. I mean, I've been able to do things like that with like baseball cards and most of my hobbies. But hey, the goats that we got here, all it does is for at our house. I can't speak for others, obviously. The goats, the chickens, the all the different critters around here. It's just something that my wife ends up spending money on, and if it makes her happy, that's fine. The fact is, I spend money on my computer, all these different things, and it makes me happy. So, but I try to keep my expenses down to where I always have, to where they're very manageable, just because the fact that I know what it's like to be without, and I would rather, for myself, I'd rather conserve money than than spend
Janie's
it.
got a question for you.
Yeah. What is the question, Janie?
She's actually from the UK too. I didn't know if you know, Gary.
I think she said something about that earlier, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, she's from the UK.
Very cool. I got a lot of friends from the UK, or some. What can't a donkey do? What can't a donkey do? What a horse can when wet?
I have no
I don't
idea.
know.
I thought they could do the same thing.
I don't know. What is it, Jamie? That GB, I think that means Great Britain. Nikki's over playing with the puppies.
How's the puppies doing?
They're doing good. They have very distinct personalities, though.
Do they?
Oh yeah. Rosemary.
Did you get two or just one?
I got two.
Oh. So you got Nikki and two puppies now.
Yeah, Nikki and two puppies and Otis. Answer.
Yeah, and an Otis.
When a donkey is wet, he can't shake his body, only his hair. Wow, that's pretty neat. I like trivia questions and that type of thing. I got a trivia question for y'all. What major Motown star released an album under the name of Evetts Redknapp in, I think it was in 1968 or 1969, that hit, I think it was around 78 on the charts. I mean, he did it just to see if somebody would buy his stuff without his name associated with it.
What kind of music?
So, I think the album was an instrumental. I think. The clue I thought was they're from Motown. The name on the album was Evetts Redknapp. That was that may have been the name of the album. Will Herbert. Nope. Good guess though. You ready for the answer?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say Roy Clark.
I put Evetts Red Now in there. All right, it was, and I put Evetts Red Now in there. And now I may have misspelled it a little bit, but it was Stevie Wonder.
Oh.
And
I was sitting here wondering if maybe it was Stevie Wonder. I knew that it couldn't be Chuck Berry because anything that Chuck Berry released, there was vocals on it.
Well,
but
I think it was instrumental. It may not have been, but in fact, if you'll look at the name, it's actually Stevie and Wonder spelled backwards.
Oh my goodness!
And I may have misspelled this Evetts, but that's a sincere. That's a trivia question, and it's true too.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I misspelled it. All right.
That's awesome, though.
But I mean, you can look that up, and that's the proper spelling of it. I think I misspelled it. I just had to type out Stevie Wonder, and then I had to type out Stevie Wonder to make sure I spelled it right.
That's neat.
I like it. Don't forget the wet donkey ever. I'll try not to, but I take a Torvastatin, Janie, and that really messes with my memory. It's one of the reasons why I most of the time seem like I'm real scatterbrained and stupid. Of course, I may be just stupid, but I ain't that bright anyhow.
Statin drugs will do that to you.
Yeah. Well, I blame a Torvastatin, so.
Yep.
But I did not know that. I know
statin drugs are what killed my dad.
Really?
They're what brought on the heart. Yep, they're what brought on the heart attack that killed him. Yep. I'm allergic to them, so I can't take a statin. And of course, I have cholesterol readings that are just ridiculous. And so I had a primary care doctor that she was going to be okay with writing me a prescription for a statin that she knew clearly I was allergic to, and that could either land me in a hospital or kill me. And I said, no, I'm not taking it. No. I am allergic to it. So no, Tammy, I'm not taking it. No. And so the cardiologist yesterday started me on Zetia. It's a non-statin. There's nothing in it that I'm allergic to. And when I talked to my pharmacist about it, he said the only thing that he had ever heard about that people had trouble with was that the first couple of weeks until your body got adjusted to it. He said people had trouble with gas. He said, but you're in luck. We sell Gas X. So I'll give it a shot. See what happens. Plus, I'm changing my diet, so.
That's interesting, Janie. My wife has some drugs that she's allergic to, and we went through a pretty big ordeal at one point. Y'all stop it. Y'all behave. It took them a year for them to diagnose my wife. In the meantime, she was dropping weight, and she ended up dropping down. I mean, I think at the time she was probably around 150, 55, something like that. It's not like we sit around and talk about her weight. But, she dropped down to 91 pounds. And
oh, my goodness.
Well, this was over the course. Stop it.
No, Janie, I stepped out.
stepped out of the truck while it's driving down the road.
The road is so rough, I can't read the chat right now.
But we went through, and she was in and out of the hospital for a year. I mean, not the doctor's office. Literally had to go to the hospital. At one point, they thought it was her gallbladder, so they took out her gallbladder. At one point, I mean, she was just in and out the hospital. I'm not sure how I got started on this conference. Oh, I remember. During one of these times when we went to the hospital, they gave her some of these drugs that we found out she was allergic to. And I don't know if you've ever seen those folks where their hands are all contorted and they can't speak clearly and what have you. That's what this drug did to her.
Oh my.
And, and I was freaking out. Thankfully, we were still at the hospital and just took her right back inside. It was a really messed up situation. Turns out she ended up after a year of this. In fact, I've got a picture of her somewhere during that Christmas where you can't even recognize her. But turns out she has what's known as Addison's disease. And so she ended up, she has to take steroids every day. And I mean, she's got hyper/hypothyroidism, Addison's disease, and she has, I don't think it's an issue these days, but at one point she had major issues with endometriosis. So, she's had some rough goings.
Sounds like it.
But she's doing good these days. Me, I just got a memory problem. And I hadn't always had that.
The doctors are so free about giving drugs out anymore. It's a wonder more of us ain't poisoned.
Yeah. Well, the surgery in 1973 I had knee surgery, and that's how they found out I was allergic to morphine. And they gave me they used to call them hypos after the surgery, and I started having really rapid heartbeat, and they noticed I was having difficulty breathing, and then they started watching me real close, and my face started to swell, and they called the doctor, and he said, "Get her off of that morphine." And when I got to where they could explain what had happened to me, he said, "You have what we term a deadly allergy to morphine." He said, "You were so close to dying that," he said, "we weren't sure we was going to pull you out of it." And I was only 18 at the time. And so, yeah, when my mom was on hospice, she had morphine for the pain. And I had to wear double gloves to give it to her, because if it even got in, if it hit my system in any way, they said that I had about literally 2 minutes and I was going to be gone. And so I had to wear double gloves when I administered it to her, and because it was a liquid. And they had even provided me with masks, so there wasn't any chance of me inhaling anything. And they brought me so many gloves. My mom died in 2015. I am finally using the last box of the gloves that they gave me. Wow. Because they would just bring me huge stacks of them, and 3 and 4 boxes at a time. But I was having to use double gloves anytime that I gave her that medication. So I was going through them fairly quick, to what I was thinking. But I'm finally on the last box. So, but they come in handy for other things too. I wear them a lot when I'm cleaning, so that I don't get cleaning solution on my hands or anything.
Do y'all know what a big group of crows is called? I know I've heard it, but I just can't.
I've heard it, but somebody said something about it the other day.
Oh, it's not a congress. A congress is a group of baboons. That's self-explanatory. um, um,
I'm wanting to say, like a quorum or at first I was thinking it was a jury or it seems like there's a legal,
yeah,
term,
I can't
like,
think. I know geese is a gaggle, chickens is a flock, but crows, a murder.
that
It's
sounds
called a
right.
murder of crows.
Is
Yep.
that right, Janie?
Uh,
Janie was asking a question.
oh,
So I mean, I'm
the
trying
large
to.
group is called a murder. Yep.
Well, that's a legal term.
Janie, it sounds like you like trivia stuff. You need to watch Eileen in my kitchen on Saturdays. She does trivia stuff.
I
Yeah.
used to go play the top of the class, Kim. That's what Janie said. I used to go play trivia at Red Buffalo Wild Wings. They have these little things they'll
Yeah.
give you, and
Yeah.
I love trivia. Although I don't really do it these days. I used to do that whenever I used to work at Cowboy Maloney's, and they weren't too far from Buffalo Wild Wings. So a lot of times I'd like to go up there, play trivia, and get something to eat.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Have you ever tried any of their bottled sauces that they've started selling in the stores?
No, but I've had them on. I have had them on. On their food.
Have you ever had the garlic parmesan? Oh my
I think
goodness,
so.
that stuff is good. Oh man, that stuff is good.
I think I have, but it's been a while. The fact is, I don't. In fact, one of the things that I like so much from a restaurant that I actually buy their stuff in the grocery store is the spicy ketchup from Whataburger. They've got spicy ketchup, and it's on fries. Is I guess what I've used it, but I've gotten to where I use it on like burgers or whatever. Although these days, doing the low carb, high protein diet, most of what I don't eat fries, and I don't eat ice cream, and I don't eat chocolate or Reese's or any of the other things that I have a tendency to lean to, and I feel good. I'm down 25, 30 pounds, but I'm not. I'm kind of. I guess I've hit a plateau. I just seem to be staying there at the same place, and that's fine.
You're not gonna fit in your Batman outfit no more.
Well,
and I can't bug you no more. I can't call you Fat Batman no more.
Well, that'd be all right. I don't mind.
Oh, dang it!
They mourn, don't they? When a magpie dies, or what do the other magpies do? I think they mourn, but I don't know.
They do. A magpie will mourn, and a crow will do the same thing. Crows and ravens, if a member of their flock dies, they will mourn it.
They have a wake. Oh, have a wake. Correct. Okay.
I'm awake, but not very good much.
Well,
I didn't sleep last night.
Don't take a nap while you're driving, though, Randy.
I got cruise control.
Yeah, but still, probably not a good idea. Unless you get one of those auto driver, programs.
They got them now. Man, I'm scared of them. They got some down around Dallas now. Them auto driving trucks. I delivered a new trailer to one of their facilities. Man, it's like Fort Knox going in that place. They got security up, and you can't move. You go unhook your trailer. There's two guys watching you, and you got to leave right away. You can't do your paperwork. I mean, it's like going into Fort Knox.
Crazy. That's crazy.
I haven't
we
seen
do-
one of them on the road yet, but I've seen them in the parking lot.
Hmm. We usually
They showed
have,
a deal on our local news one night here in Kansas City. And they caught some guy in an electric car and he was lent way back and it was heavy traffic. When we're talking rush hour traffic. And he was lent back in his seat, sound asleep,
IP digits.
and just letting the car do everything. And when it came to a full stop, there happened to be an officer that could get to him, and he went and knocked on the guy's door and got him awake. And they said that they just told him, just because this car will run on its own and stop on its own, you still have to stay awake. And they gave him a ticket. And I thought, wow, our highway patrol's really picky. They expect you to keep your eyes open and pay attention to what you're doing. I mean, that's just so unfair sometimes.
we do have, we do visit and have food after a funeral, but I don't know if we call it a wake. I don't know what we call it. We just, we just kind of, yeah, well, I don't know. And I'm sure a lot of different conversations take place after the funeral, but we typically, we get together. Most of our, we usually have, I don't know what they call it though. Y'all know what you call it after a funeral when you get together?
Oh, I just know we do it like you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they ever called it.
I don't know if there's a particular term for it or not.
I know anytime that I was around, where somebody had died, there was a lot of people would take food in so that the family didn't have to worry about cooking. I know when my dad died, good Lord, we had so much food brought into us. It was just unbelievable. There was no way I could keep all of it. And I shared a lot of it with some friends of ours that I knew were kind of struggling. And then when my husband died, oh my word, I couldn't believe the amount of food that was brought in. I was really glad that I had a great big deep freeze, because I took a lot of it and put it into a deep freeze. And my goodness, a year after he died, I was still finding stuff that had made its way to the bottom of the freezer. But I was amazed at the amount of food that was brought in. And I know even when my mom died, even though she and I were living here in Kansas City, there were people in the apartment complex that brought stuff over to my apartment and said, we don't know if there's going to be, if you're going to have family members or anything here. But just in case, here is this. There was one lady that she brought me little individual casseroles that she had put in the little aluminum pans. And she said, these are for you, that you can just pop them in the oven and heat them up. And she said, but there's enough of them here that if you have guests, you can feed everybody. And it was nice. But anything that we ever had, everybody sat around and talked, and but we were good, especially family members. We all have a humongous sense of humor, and we would start talking about things that had happened with this person in the past, and it was always something funny. And we would all be laughing, and it became a celebration of their life.
Yeah.
And technically, that's what a wake is a celebration of life. It's not the fact, you're not thinking about they're gone. You are celebrating the fact that they live.
Well,
Victoria said gathering. I think it's more like a gathering too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Air bases here in the UK. Well, that's cool. For me, I'm still very blessed to still have both of my parents. I still have my sister, and we've lost one. I've lost one sibling in my life, and that was my baby brother. I think he was 26 when he died. But you know, I didn't deal with that very well. And Lord knows, I know if I ever lose a parent, and it's possible, you know, I could pass before my parents, so I wouldn't have to worry with it. But both of my parents are in their 80s, so you know it's something I at least is weighs on my mind from time to time. You know, a lot, but that is the way of life. Nobody lives forever. Whether it be, you know, I'd like to. But one of the reasons why I'm focusing on kind of dropping the weight and thinking of getting back into something, some kind of shape other than the round is, you know,
The round is a shape.
I know.
I wear it really good.
I know, but I said a shape other than round, though. Because I'm already done that.
I've been trying to figure out a way in this truck where I can lose some because I hate being this heavy. But trying to eat in the truck stops or fast food all the time, it's just very hard.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Believe me. Hey, it's hard even if you ain't on a truck because, you know, I know good and well that the high protein, low carb diet drops weight. I dropped, I guess 2021 maybe. I dropped 27 pounds in 21 days just by, you know, watching what I eat, doing a low carb, high protein diet. You know, it works, and it always has for me. I just have to make sure one thing I hadn't been able to do on it though this time is I hadn't been able to give up coffee this time. Whenever I go a day without it, and granted that's not part of the quote unquote diet, but that's what's recommended in in the Atkins diet thing. And so, anyhow, so whenever I take it seriously, and I have to take a vitamin every day, and I have to go through and give up coffee. If I do those things and just eat mostly meat and salads, then I drop weight. Hey, Lady Sky, good to see you. Anyhow, I know for a fact it works because I've dropped as many as like 80 pounds doing that before. And so, but for some reason this time it's hard for me to give up coffee. And so, you know, and I'm still basically, I'm not eating bread and all the things I used to eat.
That's one of my bad habits is bread.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing though. When you increase your protein consumption, it gives you a satiated feel. You feel satisfied, and it doesn't. I've looked at studies on it. I don't just do things willy nilly, typically. But I've looked at the studies, and there was one study I looked at that looked at 8 studies. You know, and it talks about how.
Hi, Rita.
Hey, Rita. Sorry, I didn't see you coming in.
I didn't see you. I just happened to glance up. She snuck in.
Yeah. But for me, you know, when I want to drop weight, the easiest thing for me to do is change my diet. It's hard, but I'm stubborn. I remember one time when I did it, my sister-in-law was working over at a cookie place, and she brought by 8 bags of broken cookies, you know, things they couldn't sell. And so they would and she set them on my table. And so I would go by there and I would sniff the cookies. And that was my aromatherapy.
Yep.
Yeah, there for a while when you was doing your late night YouTube, you'd be snacking all the time there. Ice cream or cookies or snack of some kind.
That's right. And I still eat stuff. You know, obviously you got to eat to live. I eat to live, not live to eat, which those times I was eating to live or living to eat, I guess. And so, and I'm not sitting here trying to get on no high horse or anything. I'm just, I'm just talking about my journey and what I'm trying to focus on. I'm just, I want to have a better quality of life, and
Well,
I
you can
feel
see in
better.
your face that you've lost the weight.
Well, I feel better too,
Yeah.
and it's still hard to get up in the morning. I don't want, and sometimes I don't feel like.
I think part of it too, because Shannon's having a hard time losing weight. I think it's the hours you guys work too. Working the nights. Yeah. It's harder, I think, on people working nights. Rita, put them kids to work.
Has a lot to do with it. Randy, I'm gonna have to get off of here. I have a battery light.
I'm almost where I'm at anyway, so I'm gonna be getting off here shortly too.
Safe travels, darling. Gary, it's been wonderful being able to visit with you. You guys have wonderful, blessed days, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's great to see you too.
All right, Kim. Bye. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday tomorrow. Should we sing happy birthday, or have you already done that?
I did, or I already did it to her. You can do it too, but she's probably gone already though. But
well, she may be, but I'll sing it anyhow. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kim. Happy birthday to you, and many more. There we go. I just saw you were on. Thought I'd hop up and say hello.
I was over on Rambling with the Brahms Scott's, me and Victoria, but we couldn't hear him. The volume went out. We tried to tell him, and he wasn't doing nothing. So I said, heck with it. I'll just go ahead, because I was just going to listen to him going down the road. Ain't nothing on the radio today. And I was going to listen to him on the headset, and I kept telling him, Victoria kept telling him that we can't hear him. And he wouldn't do nothing about it. So I said, heck with it. I'll start my own.
There we go. Well, that's one of the things. Every now and then I'll do a pop-up. And that's actually, I've got, though, to where what I do is when I get up, if I see somebody that I know and want to go visit with a little bit, I'll go click on theirs. And sometimes if they've got a link up or say something about coming up, I don't mind coming up. I always enjoy, the conversation. Lord knows I talk a lot. And so sometimes I can't shut myself up.
I stopped doing lives back in December. I just started back about a week ago. I'm not going to do them regular like I used to.
Well, I think you get to the point where you're tired of them. They become laborious and more like another job. And so, but I think after a little bit of a break, I've maintained my Saturday ones, but I was doing them on Tuesday and Thursday nights at midnight. And then I was doing one on Sunday at noon. And so I just, I gave up 3 out of the 4. And so and I've honestly stayed away from a lot of live streaming.
Now you say hi to me, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie. But I'm actually getting back to where I'm kind of, I guess I go through months at a time where I don't want to do it, and then I get back to where I kind of miss it and want to do it. So
on this new truck, it was harder for me to do it. You can see I don't have the vision I had on the other truck. Yeah. And then I got tired of some people, and then I just got irritated about a bunch of stuff. But then I started going in some other lives, and I had a bunch of people that was regulars coming in here wanted me to do it, so they have a place to chat during the day. And I said, well, I'll do a few, but I'm going to not do them regular though every day. But
yeah, well, I know, I understand, and I don't, but I've got back to where I've taken enough of a break where I think I'm ready to go back and do some. But in fact, I was looking at possibly doing a live stream just to pop up, and I saw you were on, thought I'd hop on, say hello.
Hell, when you came in, you should have co-streamed then.
Well, I'm not. I'm these days. I'm not really doing much in the way of co-streaming.
Okay.
And I don't mind if somebody does it off of one of my channels, but The one of the things I've noticed, or at least I think I've noticed, is a lot of people are having issues that do some of the co-streaming. I think they're having some issues with getting monetized. Not that I do, if I do some co-streaming, it's it's going to be with one of my other channels. I don't mind other people sharing mine, but
Right.
it's going to be my live stream, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So mine will be the original.
Jamie ought to be first no matter where you're at. I'm number one.
Let's see. See, I approached the streamer first.
When she comes in somewhere, like she's in Scott's earlier, she says hi to the host first, which is okay, but I ought to be first.
Well, I think I said hello to you first.
You did.
I always try to do the same thing. It's just, a thing of respect and, understanding that that's whose live stream you're in. So, if you don't enjoy the material, don't watch. That's another thing that really is, at some, I think at times, and see, I don't know, it's kind of a convoluted thing. When I go through and when you start getting bigger, you start having, in order to do that, a lot of times you feel like you have a responsibility to spend time in this person's chat and that person's chat. And
and there's so many anymore.
That's right. And so the more connections you make, the harder it is to show any, support to the others. And then it starts to feel like an obligation. So you need to be where you can just feel free to do what you do and do the stuff you like doing, as opposed to feeling like you need. Now, that doesn't mean I don't enjoy chatting with anybody and everybody, because I do. But, when I'm there and I feel like I need to be there, then it becomes more of an issue. Because
I got tired of like on our channel, like right here, and you do the same, right? We don't stick to one topic.
Right.
We kind of jump around. I'm getting tired of some of these channels, like Scott, for instance. I'll bring him up. He'll talk about his cruise all the time, and it's another year away. Well, yeah, there's like 60 people going on a cruise, but there's hundreds of people that ain't going on a cruise, could care less about people going on a cruise. So I get tired of hearing the same thing over and over.
That's true.
You're alienating part of your audience, staying on the same topic every day.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. The fact is that's part, when you're talking to the same people all the time and it's always the same subject, that gets kind of old. But,
I like a variety.
I mean, life is a variety. It really is. So,
yep.
I don't know.
We joke and cut up like you guys was doing the trivia. Make something interesting for everybody to get involved.
That's right. But anyhow, I reckon I'm gonna drop.
I'm almost my exit here, so I'm gonna end the stream. Thanks everybody for coming in. Thanks Gary for coming up.
No problem. Have a good one, Randy. We'll see y'all later. Bye, chat.
All right.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep, you're right, Victoria. That's why there's so many different channels. There's the taste or the content is different for everybody. Everybody likes something different. It'd be boring if we all like the same thing, but we all are different. And me, I like westerns. I like dirt working and stuff. And comedy. I like a variety instead of sticking on the same thing. That's what I try to do on here. Have a different person come up every day or something. Have a different topic, and different things like that. That way it doesn't get stale. Because if you do the same thing over and over, you're going to have the same people in there, yes, but you're not going to grow. You're not going to get it interesting for other people to come in. They're going to come in and see what you're doing, and well, that's all you're doing, and it's not interesting. It ain't to me anyway. So that's what I feel. I might be wrong, but that's why I watch a lot of YouTube movies anymore. I got certain channels I watch, and that's it. But I try to make it interesting. Yeah, we got the scenery for a lot of people who's never been around the country or out of, like Janie Jane, she's not even over here. See what it looks like in our country. So, but I'm going to end this, guys. I appreciate it. I'm about 5 miles from my exit here, and I've never been here, so I want to get off here so I don't get lost. But I appreciate everybody. I don't know, I might do it tomorrow afternoon too. I don't do it in the morning now. Shannon talks to me till about 10:30. So maybe about 10:30, 11 tomorrow I'll do another one. Keep your eyes open. Thanks, everybody. Bye.